Hi, I'm Becky Streepy from Glue and Glitter, and today we're gonna make super easy, super crunchy air fryer croutons. I don't know why I thought that would work. Y'all, these air fryer croutons are super easy to make and they're delicious on soups or salads, and you can make them using sliced or unsliced bread. Start by dicing up around 2 cups of bread. As you can see here, the bread I'm using is sliced, but you can use unsliced as well, just cut it up into cubes. What's very important when you're cutting up this bread is that you get uniform pieces, because if your croutons are all different sizes, they're going to cook at different rates, and what you don't want is some burnt croutons and some that are underdone, right? The only other thing I want to caution you about is that if you are using sliced bread, I would avoid using bread that's labeled as thin sliced. Bread that's small slices is fine. That's actually the kind that I'm using, and that's like the whole loaf is smaller. But if the slices are too thin, it's gonna burn so fast in the air fryer. If you are using thin sliced bread, I would check in on this like every 2 minutes just to make sure it doesn't burn, because something that thin is just going to cook very quickly. Transfer the diced bread to a large bowl, and now it's time to season. Add a ½ teaspoon each of onion powder and garlic powder, a teaspoon of dried rosemary, a ¼ teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then immediately get in there with a spoon and start tossing this really well to coat the bread in the oil. The reason that we both add the oil last and start tossing quickly is because the bread is gonna absorb that olive oil pretty quickly, and so you need to start tossing it around before that happens so that you can get oil on all the bread pieces. Once everything is nice and coated, it's time to transfer it to your air fryer basket and cook. Cook these at 400 degrees for 4 to 8 minutes. I know that 4 to 8 minutes seems like a very broad cooking range, but the reason that I'm doing that is because different breads will cook at different rates. Something like lighter and fluffier, like a white bread, is gonna cook faster than like a whole wheat bread. But also, as I mentioned before, thinner slices are gonna cook up faster than thicker ones. So depending on the size of your pieces, you need that broad range to make sure things don't burn. The other way you're gonna make sure things don't burn is by shaking every couple of minutes. And when you're shaking, you're moving things around so they cook evenly, but also peek in that basket. See how things are looking. And when they look like croutons, they're ready. I like to serve these up to add a little bit of crunch to a creamy soup, like croutons in a tomato soup is pretty iconic. You can also, of course, add them to salads. If you do have leftover croutons, no problem. You can just transfer those to an airtight container and store them on the kitchen counter. They'll keep for 2 to 3 days. I hope that this video has answered all of your questions about how to make croutons in the air fryer. If you have any questions I didn't address, feel free to drop a comment. I am always happy to help. And don't forget to rate and subscribe. Happy cooking!